So today we're going to talk about Ass Effect. I mean Mass Erect. Mass Effect Legendary Edition. And some fans have been complaining that the butts have been removed from Mass Effect Legendary Edition. So we're going to get to the bottom of it, and we're not going to leave any info behind. So if you're not aware, the Mass Effect trilogy is coming to the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. It will be forwards compatible with the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. And actually this game was announced last year. They just didn't say anything about it until now. And if we take a look at this tweet from Mass Effect, the Mass Effect Legendary Edition will come with all 3 games and over 40 DLC, remastered in 4K Ultra HD and HDR support, extra visual and gameplay updates to Mass Effect 1, and unified character creator options across all 3 games, coming to the PC, PS4, Xbox One, and forwards compatible on PS5 and Xbox Series X. And we have a release date now, and Xbox UK says that this will be released on May the 14th, and that's across all of the platforms, so PlayStation 4 and 5 as well. So we do have some screenshots comparisons of what the Legendary Edition looks like versus the original, and as you can see in the side-by-side screenshots, the Legendary Edition, it does have more texture work, particularly if you notice in the alien on the left, in the top set of the screenshots, he has better texture work on his face and his armor, and even in the bottom set of the screenshots, the texture work on his face and the armor, his clothes look much better. Now, there was a media outlet that had an interview with Bioware, the developer, and they had an article that read, Mass Effect Legendary Edition interview, changing FemShep's animation, but not the ending. Now, it does go through some updates of what is in the game, and it says in the article that the remaster collection has been designed for the last gen consoles, but BioWare are promising it will be forward compatible with the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, including much faster loading times. All versions though will feature new character models, improved textures, shaders, and visual effects, as well as updated lighting, dynamic shadows, real-time reflections, and depth of field effects. The games are also promised to run at a steady 60 frames per second on all but the base Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. Now, this was the part about the bus, and the developer said Kevin actually called out some camera cuts that were just, why was that focusing on Miranda's butt? So in some cases we said, okay, we can make a change there, but ultimately to change an entire character model or something like that wasn't really, it was a decision that was made as part of many creative decisions, and just showing it's at the best possible fidelity that we could going forward is really the choice for all of the art that we had. Now, some gamers were upset at this, and Black D Gamer 1 says, imagine editing out the butt shots of an M-rated game because you're squicked out at the fact that a female has curves, boobs, and butts. I swear, leftists act like complete children when it comes to sexuality. BioWare needs to be absolutely ashamed of itself. And I gotta say, I don't think it was purely just because it was a sexualized thing, and there are butts in every game. Any game that you play, usually in the third person camera mode, and you're just looking at the butt the entire time, you can move your camera stick onto the butt if you really wanted to. So it's not just that it's a butt shot, it's just that the shot composition of the scene doesn't make any sense as a piece of art. And sometimes when you create something, when you look back at it in, say, 10 to 15 years' time, you can see that you can improve on many things. And for example, in this case, BioWare decided that it didn't really make sense to be staring at her butt from a view of a 3'9" dwarf. So in this case, as you can see in the screenshots in this tweet, it doesn't really make sense to have a viewpoint from that angle, especially when you are Shepard and you're actually looking at Shepard from a third person point of view, from what looks to be like you are just crouching down on the ground. So for me, like, that doesn't make sense at all, especially if I'm coming into this with a 2021 type of lens. J-Step writes, to the devs doing Mass Effect Legendary Edition, if this is your stance on the game, you are going to tone it down despite it's a M-rated game. You can't be trusted that other elements won't be toned down or taken out for petty reasons. You have failed this game. And by the way, I just got to say, even though I'm reading out all of these tweets, doesn't mean I'm agreeing with them. Actually, I don't agree with any of these tweets. However, I thought I would just highlight some of the viewpoints that other people are having. So, Shameless Lurker says, murder and having the choice to give hope to a somewhat dying race when in actuality you F them over, which leads you, the player, killing your friend. That's all good, but having an ass shot belonging to the perfect woman is a big no-no. So I think people are missing the forest for the trees here, and I think that people are seeing that the butts are being removed, therefore they're censoring my game, and they're getting worried that everything that they like is getting taken out. Well, I don't think it's quite like that, because people have got to see that these developers they're thinking about it from a broader point of view, and they just want to update the game so that it's to a 2021 perspective rather than, say, a 2005 perspective. And we have one final tweet here. This one's from Zam, and he writes, but why even remove it though? It's an M-rated game with sex scenes in it, but somehow a shot of a woman's butt is too obscene for the adult audience. What sense does that make? So that effectively proves my point. You can have sex scenes in a game. You can have sexy people in a game. It's just that you have to do it creatively and you have to do it well. And if you can further the story and further the meaning in the game, then by all means, it makes sense to have it. But if you're just doing it for cheap laughs, then sometimes it doesn't make sense, especially when you're updating a game and it's not going to have the same impact as it once did 15, 20 years ago. Okay, that's going to be it for this one. If you like this video, make sure to click the like button and also to subscribe to this channel for more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one.